and Michael Bennett both sat on the sidelines for their team's preseason games this weekend. Bennett said the violent events in Charlottesville, Virginia served as a catalyst for his action. Yesterday, Browns head coach Hugh Jackson said he understands the protests but doesn't want it to happen on his team. Let's take a listen.
I think everybody has a right to do, and I get it, but the national anthem means a lot to myself personally, an organization, or football team. I hope, again, I can't speak. I haven't really talked to our team about it. I would hope we don't have those issues. I understand there's a lot going on in the world. I like to just keep it here. What we deal with, we try to deal with as a team in our closed environment. We talk about things, but hopefully that won't happen. I can't tell you it won't happen, but I just know our guys. I don't think that's where our focus is, and we hope the things that are going on in the world get ironed out. But I know right now we're doing everything we can to get our football team better.
Shannon, do you have a problem with what Hugh said?
I got a huge, huge problem with what he said. Skip. He said, I think everybody has a right to do it, and I get it. When someone says, you have a right to do it, and I get it, you already know. But the national anthem means a lot to myself personally, the organization, and our football team. I hope, again, I can't speak because I really haven't talked to our team about it. So how do you know your players feel the same way about the anthem as you? Skip, he says, and he goes on to say, there's a lot, hold on, what make it do? There's a lot going on in the world, and I hope it gets ironed out. Does Hugh Jackson think because he coaches in the National Football League that he's insulated for what's going on in the world? I get it, Hugh. You don't want to try to help fix the problem. But why are you trying to deter your players from at least handing me a wrench so I can help fix the problem? Boy, I wish I was in the barbershop. I wish I was behind closed doors because I could tell Hugh Jackson what I actually really think about him. Because if I were to tell it today, right now, what I'm really thinking about him, and he knows what I'm thinking. Everybody knows what I'm thinking and what I really want to call him. But boy, they need to stop with all this shucking and jiving and just tell the truth. I understand, Hugh, you got a job, but there are a lot of black men that were before you that was equally or more so qualified than you that didn't get the opportunity. And I know you think you got this job on your own, but you don't understand how many men are working behind the scenes that get not only you, but other black coaches even opportunity to be heard. Why don't you pick up the phone today and you call John Wooten and you ask him what he thought of your comments? Skip, I am so glad Dr. King, Rosa Parks, John Lewis, the Andrew Youngs, the Jesse Jacksons, the Nelson Mandelas. That ain't my problem. Let somebody let them iron it out. It cost Dr. King his life. It cost Nelson Mandela 27 years in prison on Robben Island. Skip, does he realize how ridiculous he sounds? That I hope the world gets this. Hugh, the problem that these young men were protesting, that Colin Kaepernick took a knee, that Michael Bennett took a seat for, and Robert Quinn and Malcolm Jenkins are raising their fists, it affects your football team because they're young black men. Shannon, you got to be calm,
So let me ask you this. You were saying he is selling out and letting down the black community.
Yes.
Okay.
But see, you being nice about it. But in the barbershop, he knows what he is. And you know what? I've been talking to John Wooten, and you know this. I've talked to him a lot, and I said, John, there's some things that I say in private conversations. I'm going to try to do better. But Woot, I'm going to tell you right now, it's going to be hard for me to not call Hugh Jackson what he actually is. For him to go public and says, I hope the world gets ironed out. Does he understand that he lives in this world and that by passing the buck and kicking the can, no one solves this problem? At some point in time, Dr. King, Rosa Parks, our great leaders, they picked that can up. They didn't keep kicking it down the road. And for him to say that, he hopes, it means a lot to me. I wonder if has he ever read the national anthem in its entirety? Not sing it, read it. Because you know what, Skip? While he's talking about he hopes the world and it means a lot to him, they're singing that anthem about you, Baldy. They're talking about you. And how if you tried to escape, there's nowhere you can run that they wouldn't find you. And for him, Skip, I remember when my grandfather used to be tinkering around the house, he would say, boy, hand me a monkey wrench or hand me a pipe. I'm not doing anything, Skip. All he's asking me to do is hand him the tools. If you don't want to do anything, Hugh Jackson, that's your right. Mm-hmm. But why are you trying to not hand the young men that do want to do something? Why are you not at least giving them the tools so they can help? Being a coach in the NFL doesn't insulate you from what's going on in the world, Skip. You know why? Because professional sports are a microcosm of society. And 70% of the NFL is made up by who? Black players. And who are they trying to call attention to? What are they trying to say? That our innocent young black men and women, unarmed, are getting gunned down at a disproportionately rate. And for Hugh Jackson to say that, there are a lot of people in their offices today clapping, a golf clap, because they got this clown up here in front of national television saying that bull jive.
So before I speak, I need to remind everyone what is glaringly obvious. I'm white. So I can't begin to identify or relate to anything you just said because I can't really feel how you grew up. I'm going to remind you, you grew up very differently than Hugh Jackson grew up. He grew up in Los Angeles, California, and went to Dorsey High School, right near where we are right now, not too far. You're rural South Georgia.
Correct.
It's rough. There are still, to me, from what you've described of your childhood, still vestiges of slavery around you.
Of course.
Right?
Yes.
So it's in your blood. It's in your craw. And I'm not sure you can quite identify with that. So I'm definitely not going to defend him, but I'm going to try to put this in some context with my 2 cents from a distance. He does have a right to say publicly that he respects, honors the flag. Are you okay with that?
Yep.
Okay. And I'm going to remind you, as one of the few black head coaches, I lost count. How many do we have now?
Him, Anthony Lynn, Mike Tomlin. That's it, I think. Can't think of any other off the top of my head.
One of the few in the National Football League. It took him a long, hard climb to get there. I counted up this morning, he's had 19 different jobs. That's a lot of jobs, starting.
Marvin Lewis also.
Yeah. But I mean, Marvin's been in his one job for a long time. That's kind of starting to get hard to defend there.
Yeah, I think Marvin's been there for what, like 13? He's the second longest tenure coach behind Coach Belichick.
Without a playoff win.
Correct.
Though his regular seasons have been consistently pretty to very good.
Yep.
Okay. So, in this case, 19 different jobs for Hugh Jackson in college and pro football, starting at University of Pacific and just slowly but surely working his way up the ladder. Then he got to the crescendo at Oakland, became the head coach, and got fired there. So he knows what it feels like to get fired as a black man in America as a head football coach in the NFL. And he winds up with the Cleveland Browns, who are a little better, but they're not very good.
No.
So I looked at their Super Bowl odds. They have the third worst Super Bowl odds to the Jets and the 49ers. So is it possible this year's Cleveland could go, I don't know, 0-16? It's possible. They got off on the wrong foot, wrong quarterback, quarterback sort of derby where they just do musical chairs with their quarterbacks. Right. Who is it? Osweiler and
Kessler.
Kaiser. And they started, what they did last year with RG3.
The kid from Stanford, maybe have Hogan, I think.
Hogan, he's there. So I know Hugh, and I will tell you that one thing that he has learned to appreciate is you don't win without team unity. You know how that feels?
Yes.
Where a team is like this in the locker room.
Correct.
Now, you can be like on the issue you speak of, or you can be 2 or 3 are protesting and the rest are saying, gee, I don't know if we should all, you need to do this if you're going to do it as a team. So to me, he's basically saying dismissively, which is going to, I knew as soon as I saw this, you are going to be infuriated, outraged by this. But he's basically saying, I'm here to coach football, and social protest is not part of my job. I'm trying to keep my team together, and we're going to deal with these issues internally, and we're not going to share it with you. But to your point, if you don't share it, it has no impact, right? Okay, so you're not using your platform to protest, to make a statement.
Does he realize how he got the job? The Fritz Pollard Alliance, John Wooten, who heads that up, does he realize
One of my closest friends, as I've always
how
known
many
him for
people
30
are
years.
how many people are behind the scenes?
Yep.
That's talking to the commissioner, talking to these owners, so Hugh Jackson can get his foot in the door.
That is
Does
correct.
he realize?
Okay, but you would tell you, I think if you were sitting here right now, do you realize how tenuous his job is? Do you realize that Colin Kaepernick cannot get another job because of the protest, because he was, whatever you want to call it, white-balled?
Yes.
Okay, so I think Hugh has some fear, some healthy sort of fear of, gee, if I protest, if I join in with this, if I sit down for the anthem, my owner, who's white, is not going to love it.
No,
right?
Skip, I'm not asking him to sit. Like I said, if you don't want to pick up the can and carry it, okay. But why are you trying to discourage and suppress others? Your right ends where my rights begin.
Okay.
There's a reason why they took prayer out of the school. Everybody didn't want to pray. That's why they took the Pledge of Allegiance out of school. Everybody might not want to stand before that flag with their off their chest and say, I pledge of allegiance.
Okay, but Hugh knows he's not dealing from a position of strength right now because the Browns are no good. He's got no real platform to stand on. Colin Kaepernick got to a Super Bowl and I thought should have won the Super Bowl. I thought he got robbed at the end of the Super Bowl, and he almost got to a second Super Bowl. So that built him a platform. It's pretty good.
Yes.
It's hard. You can't take that platform away from him. Now, did they start to struggle? Yes, they did. But I thought 16 touchdowns to 4 interceptions, that's a little more. You're still increasing your platform to me last year. Hugh Jackson, not so much. I mean, they had the first pick in the draft. They're not very good. So you have to have some sympathy for the fact that he doesn't want to put himself in some harm's way here, yet he needs a platform. He needs to make sure he has some job security before he risks his job.
He got job security. They fired him. He's going to get the last 3 years on that money, Skip.
Well,
Stand for something to fall for anything. Think about Skip.
Okay, but just I'm going to throw this back at you.
Okay.
You're not risking your job right now. In fact, you're enhancing your position to me because you are so powerfully spoken on this issue.
Yes.
Okay, so there's no risk at what you're doing right now at all, right? To me?
Except calling somebody what they are on national television.
Okay.
I might get suspended for a week, but he knows. Everybody knows what that
You're
is.
going to get suspended.
Yeah, but he knows. As long as he, hey,
Okay.
you know.
Okay, he does know it, and he would spit right back at you right now. I don't want to lose a job I haven't even really earned yet. You know, I need to do something first. I need to win 4 games or 6 games before I take the stand you want me to take. Again, that's my 2 cents from a distance. I'm not defending him. I'm just trying to give you what I think his perspective is. And I know him a little bit.
I know him a little bit too.
Yeah.
And I know a lot more than anybody else. The mere fact that he got a job and he didn't have to protest, he should be happy. Given the circumstances that were surrounding him in Oakland, and he knows, I know, and very few people do know. And he got a job after that.
He did.
This should be the last thing on his plate that he should have to worry about. I'm done with you. I'm so done with you, Jack.
So if he sat in protest,
I don't want him to
Game one.
protest. I don't want him to sit and protest.
okay, but what if he did and he lost his job over it? Would you be happy about that?
No, Skip, I'm not happy that anybody loses their job because I know what it's like to lose a job. I lost a job with the Ravens. They went in a different direction. I lost a job at CBS after 10 years. So I know what it's like. I don't wish ill on anybody because like my grandmother used to say, boy, the tree that's leaning the furthest doesn't always fall first. So I'm not wishing ill on anybody. I don't want him to sit and protest, but I don't want him to take position and minimize it. And because he thinks because he's a coach in the NFL, he's insulated from this. The one thing before, you can say NFL coach, you can say NFL, you can say all that you want to.
Yep.
But the first thing that they see is black. So if nobody knows who he is, they don't know he's an NFL head coach. They know
NFL should at this point know they're going to be asked that question, so they should have something